Let the games begin. Hi there, welcome back. If somehow, someway, you are just joining us, my name is Darren Hardy, publisher and editor of Success Magazine, author and creator of a bunch of super cool books, programs, and other success resources, and I mentor a ton of the top CEOs and global business leaders. How, you ask? I don't have any gray hair or donning one of those long, sagey-like beards that you would expect from a mountaintop guru. Well, it's because I'm a freak, and not any innate talent prodigy kind of freak, just your regular garden variety freak. I've been freakily obsessed with personal productivity since I was 8 years old. And for 20 years, I've been able to gorge my obsessive addiction because I've had the unique and really unprecedented access to the greatest thought leaders and society's super achievers. Starting 2 decades ago, having led 3 success TV networks, and for the last of those 8 years as publisher of Success Magazine. Anyway, through this massive consumption and digestion, distillation, and trial and error testing in my own life, I have discovered and found a few wicked awesome tricks that really work. The one I'm going to share with you in this video, I'm pulling from my Insane Productivity curriculum. This is just one of hundreds of productivity multipliers that I reveal in that program. In fact, this one I pass over pretty quickly because it's jam-packed so full of other big ideas and specific day-to-day strategies for creating insane results insanely fast and, most importantly, sanely. But this one I'm going to give you and spend a little bit more time going deeper with so that you are no longer run out, overwhelmed, stressed, and unsatisfied with your results. By the way, speaking of the Insane Productivity Program, I have a special gift for you at the end of this video that I'm certain will be a game changer in your ability to finally tap your deeper potential and deliver the kind of results you were always capable of but just didn't know how. So be sure to hang out with me to the end for that. It will be your reward for going the distance with me through all of these 3 wicked awesome tricks and videos, but only for those who earn their way to it by making it to the end. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to gamify your productivity. Make the grind fun. Oh, and hey, in this video, look out for what I call the Candyland solution to getting your kids pumped up to do all the things that you're now having to browbeat them to do, yet they still aren't doing. This one tip will change your life, particularly the life inside your house and the discipline, behavior, modification, and the development of your children. It's called the Candyland solution, so don't miss it. Okay, look, let's face it. I don't care how much you love what you do or how much you love improving yourself. Much of the time is going to be spent grinding it out, doing what you don't necessarily feel like doing, going to the gym when you don't feel like it, getting up extra early to put in a couple extra hours planning or working on an important project, not watching the movie on the plane, and instead grinding out a few extra hours on your laptop, skipping Sunday football or the golf tournament's final round or the tennis match with your buddy so that you can get some head down work going to get a jump start on the week ahead. I call these little moments the big separators between success and average. I often ask audiences, what do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common? What do you think it is? What do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common? Here's what it is. They both hate to do what it takes to be successful. Successful people just do it anyway. They grind. When others are watching American Idol or The Voice, they're grinding. When others are meeting for happy hour, they keep grinding. When others are sleeping in, they get up to what? Grind. When others get tired, they grind out a few more reps, a few more phone calls, a few more pages of writing, a few more free throws, a few more practice sessions, a few more minutes on the treadmill. They just out-grind everyone around them. Malcolm Gladwell concluded in his book Outliers that people at the top don't just work harder or even much harder than everyone else. They work much, much harder. They what? Yeah, they grind. The problem is this. The grind is tedious, it's mundane, it's arduous, and it's boring. When our attention and interest wanes, that's when we suffer our greatest achievement threat. It's called drift. You see, you don't fall off course. You drift ever so slightly until you look up days, weeks, or even years later and you realize, oh crud, you're way off your intended direction. And now you're too late and too far behind to catch up. You have a heart attack, you get a divorce, you have to file for bankruptcy, or end up estranged from your own family members. You see, this drift tendency is a natural and normal human condition. It happens to all of us, all the time. It's the number one reason why people don't achieve their resolutions or the goals that they set. It's not a lack of desire or intention. It is not a lack of starting. You see, everyone starts. They make resolutions, they write goals, they sign up for gym memberships, they start new prospecting routines, they begin a weekly date night ritual, they start eating healthy, and then what? Yeah, they drift. To prevent it, so that you can do what others don't, so you can have what others won't, you have to hack this human tendency. You have to learn to master the mundane. And to master the mundane, you have to make the mundane stimulating and fun. How, you ask? Drugs. Well, one drug in particular. Yep, I'm going to show you how to use the greatest performance-enhancing drug ever discovered. It will give you a radical, unfair personal achievement advantage. What's the drug? Anabolic steroids? HGH? Andro? EPO? Nah, way more powerful than all of those is dopamine. Dopamine is the ultimate pleasure and motivation drug. And the good news? You don't have to travel to the seedy part of town to get your drug from some tattooed trigger-happy drug dealer or an ex-science teacher cooking it up in a converted RV. No, your drug dealer is God. You have a pantry full of dopamine bottled up and just waiting to be pulled off the shelves for your enhanced performance use. So, how do you break into your dopamine drug closet? Games. Nothing captivates human attention and engagement like a game. It activates all sorts of human faculties: competition, reward, incentive, real-time evidence of progress, recognition, etc. All these pump the mojo drug into our system. We love our dopamine. It has a totally engrossing and intoxicating effect on us. This is why kids, and probably you in the past, or maybe still, can spend countless hours losing all sense of time playing with your Xbox, PlayStation, or Wii. It also is why we love sports, board games, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, Angry Birds, and the like. All these games give us big hits on the dopamine pipe. Gaming stimulates all your emotional and psychological motivations. People love it. You can use that love to your productive advantage. And look, this is not a new idea. Weight Watchers, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and military organizations have been using this approach to motivate people for a half century, a century, and a millennia, respectively. But now, we want to apply game mechanics to your day-to-day key performance behaviors to help you overcome crippling procrastination, creative avoidance, and sheer monotonous boredom and tedium. Gamifying your key performance behavior can be your wicked awesome trick and secret to how to stay engaged, consistent, and performing at levels much higher than is normal or natural for mere mortals around you who are not in the game. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you the formula. Are you ready? Okay, first we need to be sure that we leverage this drug to its highest and best use, meaning accomplishing your most important goals instead of just besting your highest score on Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's use the framework of the massive transformation formula that I teach in the book, The Compound Effect. It's simple, but it's transformative in 3 simple steps. Okay, 1, decide what your big 3 goals are. Not 50, not 10, not 5 goals. If you have more than 3 goals, you don't have any. No, the big 3 goals that if you achieve them would make this year the best year of your life to date. That's step 1. Step 2, identify the 1 or 2 key behaviors that are most important to accomplishing each of your big 3 goals. We know that you are 1 or 2 key behaviors from a massive transformation in any area of your life. Think about it. you're one or two key behaviors away from totally transforming your sales results. There are only one or two key behaviors that if you did them day in and day out, it would totally transform your results. This is true of your diet, fitness, leadership, marriage, parenting, any area. So then, it's critically important to identify what are those one or two key behaviors and focus on performing them day in and day out. Oh, but there's a little trouble in this. They become mundane. They become laborious, tedious, and boring. Thus, you start to drift right back into mediocrity. But not you, and not now. The third step to the massive transformation formula is to track your performance on those 2 to 3 key behaviors that are key to you accomplishing your big 3 goals to make this the best year of your life. This is where we apply game mechanics to break open the medicine cabinet and pour this true performance enhancing drug right into your system. So I'll give you some examples of the games that I've played and an example about how to do it in a family or an organization as well. Now, I'm not a big fan of all the phone apps and other complicated games people have created for this purpose. I find that you end up spending more time learning how to fit your goal into their ecosystem and spend more time managing the app than performing your key behavior. I like super simple, really quick to execute, and physically visible systems. First of all, I suggest that you use the achievement management system in the Living Your Best Year Ever program. Inside is what's called the weekly rhythm register. Massive momentum is created through the small repeated rhythms of behavior. You can get that system at bestyearever.success.com. That's bestyearever.success.com. Or you can download the single blank weekly rhythm register at the compoundeffect.com website. So here's where you focus on your big 3 goals and then the 2 to 3 key behaviors for accomplishing each of those goals and the daily tracking grid that goes along with it. No matter how complex or busy your life is, it can all be managed from this single piece of paper in under 30 seconds a day. It's powerful. The hardest part is staying consistent over the long haul on those 2 to 3 key behaviors. And that is where this wicked awesome trick comes in when we gamify them. All right, so let me give you some of the basic structures to gamifying your behavior. There's 6 points here. Don't miss a single one or you'll mess it all up. Just like a game, you need certain components to make it fun and to get that dope or the dopamine surging through your veins. Number 1, a goal. Your mission, your crusade, the battle to win, the destination to get to, what it takes to win. For Candyland, it's reaching the Candy Castle. In Monopoly, it's bankrupting your competitors and ending up with all the cash. In Angry Birds, it's getting rid of the pesky pigs. For your productivity, that's achieving one of your big 3 goals. Number 2, an objective. This is how to accomplish your goal. In Candyland, it's progressing through Candyland and avoiding obstacles. In Monopoly, it's buying property and charging rent. In Angry Birds, it's attacking the pigs or the obstacles containing them. For you, it is the key behavior you need to perform to achieve one of your big 3, whatever that is. Number 3, tracking progress. Games come with a board, a game console, an app, or a storyline plot to progress through. This is where you need to get inventive. How you will track progress in your epic mission to achieve your great mission or big goal. I've used many different devices. First of all, printing out the weekly rhythm register and putting it up on my wall or taping it to my computer screen or bathroom mirror, that becomes my game board. Then, when it's something I need to track throughout the day and not just at the end of the day, then I use devices like a stopwatch if I'm tracking the amount of time that I'm engaged in my number 1 behavior. Maybe it's prospecting or writing or time in front of a client or time engaged with the family, time in my 90-minute jam sessions, whatever. The key behavior is actually tracking and timing it, and the more I do, the more points I end up on my game board. Another is, let's say, a big desk calendar that I post up on my wall. Again, I like very physical and visual devices. If it's in an app buried in your phone, it's easily forgotten, avoided, or made secret, which doesn't help you leverage public accountability. Let's say maybe I'm tracking the number of days I do my stretch routine, or my core exercises, or get in at least one 90-minute jam session. When I complete it, I love putting the big fat red X up in victory. Having it up where you can see it all day and not doing it will haunt you all day. And once you have a string of big fat red X's going, you won't want to break the chain. You will be way more motivated to do what you need to do and way more satisfied with yourself when you do. Every time you scratch one of those big fat red X's on your game board, you get a big toke on the dopamine pipe. Another device that I use is a pocket full of pennies. Let's say my goal, my mission, my great crusade is trying to improve the intimacy in my marriage. Since, let's say, her love language is expressions of appreciation. Performing that progresses me through the game towards the goal. To track it, I start the day with 10 pennies in my left pocket. The goal is to move them all to my right pocket. Every time I say or do something to express my sincere, heartfelt appreciation, I move one penny from the left pocket into the right one. Now, like any game, you have to avoid obstacles. Let's say that the obstacles are if I say anything negative or sarcastic or critical. If I do, then I have to take a penny from the right pocket and put it back in the left. At the end of the day, I will know whether I won or lost the daily battle of increasing the intimacy in my marriage by whether I have 10 pennies in my right pocket or not. Here is a game I helped a single dad friend of mine create. He was complaining that he couldn't get one of his daughters to clean her room, another to finish her nightly homework, his son to do his assigned reading, and his other son to do his workouts to prepare for football season. He tried everything, every threat, every pressure tactic that he could muster. Nothing worked, and his household was one of constant lecturing and aggravation. So I helped him make a game of it. We took an old Candyland board and gave each of them 3 ways they could make daily points associated with their key behaviors that secretly Dad wanted them to perform anyway, but couldn't get him to do. If they did all 3, they got to move 1 space on the board. We also created some extra credit ways that they could move 2 spaces, even 3 spaces in a day. Well, let me tell you, the attitude, motivation, and performance did a dramatic 180. Now each of them was excited, fired up, and fully focused on doing their 3 things to get their points. And at least 2 of the 4 did extra credit work stuff that was super helpful to Dad's burden to move the extra spaces each day. The entire previous experience of drudgery and threat and anger and whining and complaining turned into fun, excitement, and full throttle engagement. The last few parts of constructing your game are 4. Creating a reward if you achieve your goal, your mission. Depending on the size of the goal achieved can depend on the size of the reward that you set out for yourself. I've used a special bottle of wine that I wouldn't normally afford myself, or maybe even a new watch I wouldn't normally be able to justify the expense of. By the way, my improved performance, the achievement of my big goal is always 10x or more paid for the reward. It just gives you a little something to look forward to at the end of the epic battle, if you win. Even more stimulating is number 5, creating your consequence. You see, we do more to avoid pain than we do to seek pleasure. Use this human trait to your advantage. Build in a significant consequence if you do not stay on track with your objectives and do not win the game. I outline a bunch of ideas on how to use this powerful motivation hack in Insane Productivity. Let me just say, once you gain leverage over yourself, there is nothing you can't get yourself to do. Finally, this one is powerful. Step number 6, to really get your dopamine surging through your veins is to engage some competition. Competition is a powerful fuel for motivation. We all like to win. We are competitive by nature. Charles Darwin would tell you that it's inherent in our DNA. It's how we won the evolution game as a species and survived when many species before us did not. God agrees with Darwin in this case, it seems. Corinthians 9:24 in the Bible reads, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." You see, God wants you to compete and win. Science also agrees with both Charles and the big guy in the sky. Hundreds of studies conclude that competition can facilitate high levels of both intrinsic motivation and performance. Bottom line is, we know we really get ourselves cranked up beyond our usual performance level when we engage in a bit of competition. You will run faster, bike longer, swim swifter if you are in a race than if you're just out for a Tuesday workout. You can compete with yourself, besting your best, or you can compete with others, which is usually much stronger motivation, but both work. Now, we know that time management, staying focused, and preventing distractions and not being pulled off course from your purposeful goals has always been a challenge for mankind. But now it's an all-out war as we're living in an era of epic distraction. I'm going to say that the number one threat you face in the 21st century, the greatest threat to your productive future, and your greatest foe in your fight to achieve your goals, realize your dreams, and fulfill your passionate purpose are distractions. Here's what's happening. We are all suffering from the boiled frog syndrome. You know the scenario, a frog placed in a pot of boiling water will certainly jump out. If we told you how you would be living and behaving today, 20 or even 10 years ago, you certainly would have objected. Spending hours trolling on Facebook, texting with your children or grandchildren more than you see or talk to them, having your face in a phone while waiting in a line or at a red light or at a dinner table, or having it next to your head while you sleep, the ceaseless information and attention requests pounding you from RSS feeds, mobile alerts, LinkedIn updates, tweets, Instagram posts, Facebook updates, and the dramatic increase of email, instant messages, and text messages coming directly at you through all these portals that you've willingly opened yourself up to through your laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. So tell me if any of this describes how you feel these days. You feel perpetually exhausted, constantly busy, constantly on the go, always in a rush, bouncing from task to task, worried if you're falling behind even as you strive to get ahead. You're trying to make up for the feeling that you're falling behind through brute force, maybe multitasking, popping from project to project, emailing while talking on the phone, rushing from meeting to meeting, texting under the table, squeezing in one last call while frantically trying to get to the next appointment on time. After all this rushing around, do you end many days with the haunting feelings of guilt about incomplete tasks, coupled with resentment that the tasks were imposed on you in the first place, leaving you with a frustrated feeling that you are neither fulfilling your important goals nor performing at your best? Then, after all this effort just to try and keep up, does your family complain that you work too much, are always busy, and not attentive enough, adding to your stress? And even when you aren't working, you find it difficult to fully enjoy pleasant moments without impatience, boredom, restlessness, irritability, frustration, and deep pangs of dissatisfaction and anxiousness creeping in. And finally, do you have the mounting feeling that your life has become superficial, finding it difficult to give full attention to any thought, to any conversation, an image, a paragraph in a book, a diagram in a report, even a sunset, or anything really when you try to? Does any of that feel true for you? If so, I can help. I was able to describe those feelings and outcomes so accurately because up until about 4 years ago, it's exactly how I felt and how my life was going. I also observed this in a lot of my achiever friends as well. But with my access to the top minds, futurists, and business strategists of the world, I finally learned the tools, systems, and strategies to change myself in these dynamic modern times. Here's the bottom line. The same old time management strategies of yesteryear aren't enough anymore. You need way more strategies and more modern strategies than to simply do the first thing in the morning, or time blocking, or chunking your calendar, or doing the 20% to produce the 80%. While all that's fine and dandy, they were 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th century time management solutions. No, because of the proliferation of technology, what we are dealing with today is way above and beyond those challenges. That is why today you don't need the regular old run-of-the-mill focus. No, you need insane focus if you want to win. Hey, if you want to just spectate, more power to you. Shut off this video now. This isn't for you. But if you want to play the game to win, to do more, to be more, to succeed more, and contribute more, you need new skills. Whenever I'm asked what's the most important skill for the 21st century, I'm quick to respond with learning to control your attention and stay focused on what's really important to you. Self-management and your personal productivity will be the determining factors to whether you're able to keep up and survive in the 21st century. And some, if you really learn how, you can separate yourself and thrive in this century of dynamic change and progress. Now, I'm not just feeding you a line of bull here. I can speak from personal experience. As you know, for the past 8 years now, I've had unprecedented access. No one has spent more time interviewing and studying the greatest achievers in the world today than I have. It's all I do all day, every day, for 8 years straight. Once I learned the tricks and strategies and got the tools and put in the systems in my own life, I was finally able to take back control of my environment, my mind, and my life. And the best part, I was able to more than triple my results, income and lifestyle simultaneously. No joke, triple. These discoveries allowed me to create what some might consider insane results, insanely fast, and the best part, sanely. Quite frankly, it allowed me to create all of this. None of this would be possible before I learned these tricks. For a while, I didn't share these insights with anyone. First of all, I was vetting and testing and proving which worked and which did not. And second, I was just sharing these strategies with the CEOs that I was mentoring one-on-one. Then I started to share them in one-day intensive workshops called the High Performance Summit. It was an invite only, and only 125 people were admitted at a time. The cost was $1,500 to $2,300, and they sold out in hours, 6 times straight. But it wasn't until just last year that I packaged it into a 12-week virtual class called Insane Productivity. The course is 90 days, and each week one of the 12 modules is released for 12 weeks. Within each module is a live recorded workshop segment, a follow-along video with the slide visuals, and a downloadable progressive workbook. This is where I lay out the modern tools, the proven daily, weekly, and monthly systems, the tricks and tips to prevent the relentless distractions, and the strategies to keep your focus, find your massive leverage points, multiply your output, and finally sustain your passion and remain consistent until you conquer your big, hairy, and audacious goals. It's applicable to all industries, all businesses, whether you are self-employed or employed, because it's about personal productivity. Now, if you go to insaneproductivity.com, you'll see that memberships are not for sale. You have to receive a private invitation when a new class is about to begin. So, because you have gone the distance with me on these videos, by the way, this is one of the filtering systems I use to qualify people into Insane Productivity. Everyone says they want to do more, become more, and accomplish more, but few actually pursue it and do the work necessary to gain the results. One of the transformative changes I made to my business and my life and lifestyle is I don't want to work with people who need to be better. And I don't want to work with people who need to be convinced that they need help, training, and guidance to be better. I only want to work with people who want to be better and are willing to invest in the training and do the work they need to be so. So, if you're watching me now, you've made it through the first filter. You've separated yourself from the weak, and when I say weak, of course, I mean weak in intent and weak in commitment. The second filter, will you step up and invest in your greater skills? In the most important skill of the 21st century, personal productivity, and then do the work? Well, we'll see. Since you made it through the first filter, I'm going to extend a personal invitation for you to become a member of Insane Productivity. We're about to start a new class. This is a one-time invite, and it's now. And when you join, you'll get instant access to a membership site where you will have lifetime access. The 12-week program will start in 48 hours. You will be delivered a new module each week for 12 weeks. Don't worry if you can't start the program right away or go through each module right away. The best part of being a member is you get lifetime access to the curriculum and any updates so that you can learn at your own pace. While the curriculum doesn't have an expiration, this invitation to join does. Let me bottom line it for you, okay? There's no more important skill for you to focus on learning and developing than learning how to maximize your personal productivity. You with me so far? If you're wondering whether making this investment will be worth it, let me read to you what Paul D. Lucas said about that. I honestly was afraid at first to invest this much money, but realized that I needed to get past my fears and take a step of faith. Just this first week has already changed my life and dramatically improved my productivity. Thank you for allowing me to join. And as Paul said, that was just the first week. It's kind of like what David Wortman said. Let me read it. Insane productivity has changed my life. The techniques that you've taught us to use in the first few sessions has helped me be more productive several times over and has completely changed my mindset about work. I now have less stress, more confidence, and more productivity. This, by far, has been the best program I've ever been involved in. Now, you might be wondering whether this is for you, based on the work that you do. So, let me read what Gwen had to say about that very topic herself. She said, I seriously debated on whether or not to participate in this program. After all, I work for someone else and don't decide mostly how I spend my time. However, in the past few years, I've made some major changes and improvements in my life, and I attribute this to this program. This is the best learning experience I've ever had. And again, you get to learn at your own pace. You get to do as Tracy Marco does. Here's what she wrote. Wow. Much more value than I was expecting, much more value than I was prepared for. I find myself revisiting the modules and listening to them several times during my commutes and then planning and taking action. So you can continue to listen to it over and over again because you get lifetime access. Now, memberships into Insane Productivity is $14.95, but I want to offer you one more gift because you are the kind of achiever I want to work with, the one who wants to become better and is willing to step up and do what it takes to be so. I'm going to give you a $500 gift card, redeemable with your Insane Productivity membership. So while thousands of people paid $14.95 to join a class and get their Insane Productivity membership, yours will only be $9.95. You can pay in one payment, or we've even made it cash flow convenient in 3 payments of $3.95. When Warren Buffett was asked what his greatest tip on negotiation was, he said quickly, when you see a great opportunity, don't blink. You have just been handed a great opportunity. I hope you don't blink. Here's what this is like. What would you pay to hire me to work for you? To put me on your annual payroll for, let's say, 8 years. How much do you think it would cost to employ me annually? And let's say that you hired me to spend most of every waking moment and every ounce of energy traveling the world, meeting with the greatest living achievers in the world, and assuming you could gain me access to them, have me condense, distill, and compact the best ideas into a single report and present it to you in a progressive, well-designed training and development program that makes all these ideas, insights, and strategies relevant to you, applicable to your business, and actionable in your life. What do you think it would cost to fund me and my time to pull that off over an 8-year expedition? Well, now you can get all of that for less than $1,000, less than you probably spent on your TV or your fancy new bicycle or your annual designer jeans budget or your going out and your bar budget. How you spend your money today determines your future. As my mentor Jim Rohn taught me, to have what you don't have yet, you have to become what you are not yet. He said, you don't actually accomplish goals. That's everyone's mistake. They're trying to accomplish goals above their head. He said, you have to grow into your goals. How do you do that? Well, I refer to you what Brian Tracy taught me when I was only 18 years old. He said, for every dollar you earn, you want to take 10% to tithe it to help other people. We've all heard that ancient tradition. But then he said, and you want to take another 10 cents from every dollar that you earn and tithe it to help yourself. Reinvest in your own personal development. Ever since I was 18 years old, when given that advice, I have done so. And every year has been better than the last for nearly 25 years straight. So, what's your income goal this year? 100,000? Then you should be investing 10,000 into your personal development. Is it 250,000? 500,000 or more? Take the amount of your annual income goal, carve out 10%, and reinvest in yourself. So hopefully you can see that less than $1,000 is chump change to have hired me for the last 8 years gain private insider access to the greatest living, and some no longer living, achievers of our time in the one area most important to your future and success, with the single greatest program in that area that's most relevant to today's times, created just for you. So, if you're blinking now, I can't help you. There are only 500 memberships available per class. They always fill up quickly, so speed and decisiveness will be the deciding factor for you now. Go to the link below this video now. Don't wait. Procrastination and indecision has cost you many times before. Not this time. I even give you an action guarantee that if you don't believe from what you learn you can 3x your productivity, I'll refund 100% of your money. You can learn more about that on the link below as well. Go there now. Hey, in closing, I really hope you're the kind of person who steps up to invest in yourself and your greater potential. We both know you're capable of far more than your current results indicate. Yeah, in everyone else's eyes, you might be doing all right, but you and I know that's nothing. It's nothing by comparison to what you could do if you just had the right tools, systems, and coaching. I can give you those. And what we can do together with your capabilities will stagger and amaze the people around you. And most importantly, it will stagger and amaze your spouse and your family because of the life and lifestyle you could provide for them when we help you really blossom. I'm here for you if you'll step up to join me. I hope you do.